we are on to the Sacramento Kings, which they are my team. They drafted Davion Mitchell at number 9, which had people riled up before Summer League for all the wrong reasons, and now everyone's riled up for all the right reasons after Summer League. They re-signed Richaun Holmes to a 4-year, $46.5 million deal, fully guaranteed, that I still don't know how Richaun Holmes accepted or couldn't find an offer that would beat that. Re-signed Mo Harkless to a 2-year, $8.9 million deal, fully guaranteed. Re-signed Terrence Davis to a 2-year, $8 million deal, fully guaranteed. Signed Alex Lynn to a 2-year, $7.6 million deal, fully guaranteed, which I thought was a typo when I saw that, but maybe not. Acquired Tristan Thompson in a 3-team trade in which they gave up DeLon Wright. They signed Nimush Keita to a 2-way contract, and they signed Emmanuel Terry to a training camp deal. Notable subtractions for them. Hassan Whiteside, DeLon Wright, Justin James is the only one I have. I don't know if I'm missing anything there. What grade did you give them, and are you holding the fact that Luke Walton is still their head coach against them at all?
Yeah, that was my first bullet point on my outline, is that did not fire Luke Walton. That hurts him a little, but I get it. You don't want to keep paying coaches that aren't working for you anymore. The Kings have a habit of that. I gave him a C+. It would have been a lot higher because the Holmes deal, great. Like, we talk all the time, like, don't pay centers, but the Kings didn't really pay. I mean, this is I think the most that they were able to give him using what do they have, partial bird or whatever. It was the kind of deal that it didn't seem possible they'd be able to retain him for this much, especially with Charlotte having some space or just the Knicks or whoever. Like, surely he was going to get more. So really good value. I'm fine with Mo Harkless because they are real short on wing defenders, and in theory he can still do that. So 2 years at just under $9 million is fine. And Davion Mitchell, if he can guard wings, which it sort of looked like maybe he could in Summer League, then I have no problem with that pick, because now he works with Halliburton and Fox. If he can guard threes, then awesome. You have 3 point guard ball handlers that can play together, and you can get away with being undersized because Mitchell's that good defensively. Remains to be seen. I have no problem with that pick. They have too many freaking centers. It's ridiculous. Why are we paying Alex Len $7.6 million? Tristan? I would way rather have DeLon Wright than Tristan Thompson, just in a vacuum, and especially on this team, because behind Holmes, you've got now Len, you've got Thompson. I think Damian Jones they guaranteed, which is like, why? Marvin Bagley's a center. I don't care what position they think he is. He has to play center too. Chimize Metu, I don't know. He's a 4-5. Like, he plays center. The positional thing is insane. But so that it's still a C+, but I don't understand how they've divvied up their roster. It's hard for me to understand that.
Yeah. What was your grade again for them?
C+.
Yeah, I gave them a C-. I wanted to go D+, but I love Richaun Holmes, and I think that deal's an absolute steal. And then just watching the way Davion Mitchell defends in Summer League, just like, he is just all up in everyone's shit, and he is so good. He even showed some level of shot creation there too. I agree with you that I think they can get away, and not just get away, but thrive in minutes where he plays with Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox. But like, how did you not pick a direction this offseason? And I'm not saying that they needed to blow it up. They could still, and they could technically still do this, gone the route of asset consolidation if they wanted to try and be this year's version of the Suns. The star market needs to develop there. But like, the center, like you mentioned, they have all these centers. I don't necessarily even know, like, Alex Lynn getting 2 years. Why? I don't even know that Terrence Davis and Mo Harkless need to be fully guaranteed through those stretches. I don't have problems with them, but like, you didn't do anything to clarify your direction here, and that really bugs me. I know part of that is probably on the Buddy Hield deal to the Lakers that fell through.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And so I get that aspect of it, but like, what would Kyle Kuzma and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope have said about the Kings' direction, aside from breaking up Buddy Hield and 2 more digestible contracts, and then giving them, I think what it would have done is given them like actual wings on this team, which they just don't have. I know we don't look at teams in terms of positions anymore, but like, who's the actual pure wing on this roster? And people, maybe their first guess will be Mo Harkless or Harrison Barnes. I view those guys as more like, either call them a bigger wing or they both should be playing the 4.
They're both 4.
Yeah. And so is it Lewis King? Or Robert Woodard? Awesome. That's also not very awesome to say. So I needed to see something. And I like the Davion Mitchell pick now. Like if he's going to be that good at the NBA level, but you also maybe didn't necessarily put him in the situation where he needs to succeed, or maybe you did because you took all this pressure off of him with Darian Fox and Tyrese, well balanced breakfast, Halliburton. So I'm weird. I like the Richaun Holmes deal for them. I think they can get real value for that if they look to move it later, or they just have a really good center. But now they're still sort of stuck in the sub middle of the Western Conference. They did nothing to change that. I'm not a Luke Walton fan either. I just they preserved nothing. It's like this weird direction heading into a void. And maybe what does this team top out as right now? And I love De'Aaron Fox. I love Halliburton. We've talked about Mitchell already. We love Richaun Holmes. They are good players. This team doesn't have a great ceiling though. And I think Sacramento either one way or the other, whatever it was, needed to choose which side of the fence they were going to be on. Their failure to do that it's a C- for me. Maybe a C.
I think that's all fair. I agree. If you're going to criticize the Kings for not having clarity of purpose in their decision making, you could just slap a below average grade on them for 20 years, basically. I think I'm tempted to move down because obviously, the roster's very imbalanced, and just where are the wings and what's the direction. But I think I'm going to stay slightly above average because the two biggest things they did, which were drafting Mitchell and getting Holmes back on that deal, were positives. I think, although Mitchell, who knows, right? We're totally guessing at this point. We've never seen him play an NBA minute, but that's, we're still in the ballpark there. Really, should the Kings be happy that they're in the neighborhood of average in both of our estimations? That feels like a win.
And because the offseason wasn't bad, it's just there's also a market inefficiency on teams trying to rebuild in the West right now. It feels like where, yes, it's easy to say take a stick of dynamite, blow it up. I'm not saying they should have done that, but there's an opportunity in the West right now. And the Kings, you're just not good. What is their best case scenario this season? Can they even be a top 6 team? Best case.
Top 6? No. I was going to say,
I wish people could see your face when I asked that question.
I was like oh damn. No. Yeah, I mean 8 maybe. If Fox is a legit, no questions asked all-star, Halliburton step forward, Holmes is the same. Yeah, maybe. But I think the play-in again is probably their most realistic hope. They want to get in there. And honestly, I'm out here very close to Sacramento. I think that's the vibe. That would be cool. That's what they're going for. So sad as that is, I think that's kind of where we are.